Hi, everyone. I'm back for another episode of Let's Talk About It with Ryan Weis, a grad student at Seton Hill basketball.
Sydney, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
You had the option, I'm assuming, to transfer and be a grad student somewhere else, and you decided to stay. I think oftentimes, like, the reason to stay is their coaches and the relationship that you have with your teammates and with the program. What is that relationship like with your coach, and what kinds of things does he do to make you feel valued but also competitive at the program?
I think he's one of the people, you have kind of like before and after people in your life. When you meet them, your life was like this. And then after you meet them, your life is so much better. I think he's the ultimate before and after person for me. What he's done for me, basketball leadership just has given my life just so much more. And just obviously love to play for him because I'm not one of his guys, I like one of his guys. I wasn't recruited by him, but certainly feel that I was put on Seton Hill to play for him one day. So it certainly all worked out.
When you're struggling or you're in the middle of the season, what are the things that he's doing for you and for the team?
He'll just simply just ask like, "How are you?" And
Mhm.
then you say, "Good. How are you?" And then it's always no, like, "How are you?" And I think that's such an important um, difference because I feel like you hear that 50 times a day, like, "Hey, how are you?" "Oh, good, how are you?" But he really takes the time to ask how you are, and if there's anything on your mind, um, it's okay to let it out.
Yeah, that's huge for athletes, like that barrier with coaches. I think for a lot of athletes, your coaches can be your biggest stressor. What would you recommend for athletes who maybe feel like they don't quite have the conversation you have with your coach to do to try to build that rapport and be able to be vulnerable with them?
I think I think the easy answer is also probably the hardest and most uncomfortable to actually carry out would just be just being vulnerable enough to ask for a meeting and just talk about it. You feel like they should have a lot of the answers because they're in that position, but in reality, they're just trying to figure it out just like the rest of us. So I think
Yeah.
it's so important for us to have a clear mind for our own sake, but we're also part of a team, and if we're not 100%, then we can't be giving 100% to the team. So that's what I would say. Be vulnerable, ask for a meeting, and just be open and honest with them.
Yeah, I know all of the athletes right here who are struggling with that are like, "Oh, no."
Yeah,
That's really not the advice I would wanted to hear. I think getting into that too, sometimes that also is starting before you're even on campus, it's starting during recruiting. So many different things being thrown their way right now, going through college or even in the portal. What were the things that you would be recommending that they ask or look for within a program or a school right now?
this off season, like when we were bringing our recruits up, I was literally talking to one of our guys about that. I was like, man, like imagine being in like these people's shoes right now, like with the portal, with NIL. Obviously it's not like NIL is not as prevalent in Division 2 where we're at, but like still there's so many more factors. And so the first thing I always tell our recruits is watch how the team interacts with each other and watch how the team interacts with the coach.
Mhm.
And obviously there's going to be like if you're on campus, probably everyone's going to be on their best behavior, but still like there's going to be some times whether you're watching a practice or whether you're getting a tour and maybe a player passes the group on the tour and maybe he just kind of like gives a like hey to the coach, or does he go up to him and dab him up and like make small talk with him? I think that's so valuable.
Yeah, I love that. And I agree with you. I mean, there's always going to be those athletes that like the top 1%. I mean, even for volleyball, there's that who are, realizing they could go to anywhere that they wanted, that they're going to be the star player. And so they're going to get the best treatment no matter where they go. And, they might be worried about NIL and media and, the best locker room and all that because they have 1,000 options. But I know in my experience, culture greatly influenced my mental health. I think even more than playing time or my relationship with my coach, the culture of the team and of the athletic department always has influenced how I was feeling throughout the year.
I think this might give the viewers on like what kind of a coach is like in balancing that. So coach is a Pittsburgh guy, and I remember this one day, Steeler Sunday, and Friday, like we were so bad. like so bad in practice, or maybe even like Saturday morning. Might have been Saturday morning. It was the only time ever in the time that he's been here that we got kicked out of practice. We weren't like everybody was kind of like we just didn't have a good day, right? And it was one of those times that it's like, oh man, like you don't want to go talk to the coach, blah blah blah. We have a group chat of the Pittsburgh guys that are like the Steeler fans, and I remember it's like 1 o'clock Sunday or something, and we get an interception like the first drive of the game, and we get a text in the Steelers group chat, and he's like, "Come on, like let's go," blah blah. And we were like, "Okay, so I guess coach is he's done with that practice yesterday." So like it was just like he can be in a span of 24 hours. He never holds a grudge, and he kicked us out of practice. He was probably very rightfully so that we were kicked out. And then 24 hours later, he's texting the Pittsburgh guys about an interception in a Steeler game. So that's coach for you.
That's a great story, and I think such a great example for coaches who are watching this, who are looking for things that they can do to be that person for their team. I think that's great because I'm sure you guys, whatever you did to get kicked out of practice, didn't happen again on Monday. But
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
thank you for coming on the show, Ryan.
Thanks, Sydney.